Florida might be the most unpredictable and chaotic team in the SEC, if not college football, for 2025. And that alone might also make them the most important towards the college football playoff. Look at their schedule, their pathway this fall. They have one of two options. They can either be a stepping stone for a bunch of contenders en route to a 6-6 season while they punch their ticket to the playoff, or DJ Lagway, Billy Napier, and a bunch of newcomers pull up their britches and find a way to be the dark horse out in Gainesville and punch their own ticket to the postseason. So what's the more likely outcome in the swamp this year? These three bold predictions might give you a better indication. So what's going on, SEC Unfiltered? It's Cole Thompson here. Like the video, hit the ring notification, and Gators fans, we're talking about your team, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow us on the socials, link in the description. Follow me at Mr. Cole Thompson, and check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. And as always, we're proudly brought to you by our friends over at FANDUEL. Go to FANDUEL.com/SECU right now and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. So lay down $5 on DJ Lagway going to the Big Apple and winning the Heisman Trophy. Lay down $5 on Florida hitting the over in win totals this year. And if you hit, $250 comes back in your pocket. Sign up today at FANDUEL.com/SECU. Now remember, these are bold predictions. We are going out of left field, which means when it's right, you come back here and say, Cole Thompson told you first. And when it's wrong, well, it was nothing more than a bold prediction. Nobody could have thought that was going to be the case. Bold prediction number one. I think Jaden Baugh leads the SEC in every single rushing category. Rushing yards, yards per gain, rushing touchdowns. Jaden Baugh was the most non-talked about running back in the SEC last fall, even though he had taken over as RB1 down the stretch. Multiple games where it felt like that he was in command. The Mississippi State game, 13.3 yards per play. The LSU game, 10.8 yards per play. Florida State, 7.4 yards per play. And he put up really good numbers. 5 touchdown performance against Kentucky, finished with 7 total. Over 600 rushing yards, 5.1 yards a play with 133 carries. He no longer has to worry about splitting reps with Montreal Johnson, who followed Billy Napier over from Louisiana. This is now Baugh's backfield. And I think if you give him room to gallop, he has all three intangibles that you want in a lead running back. Physical. He is going to pile drive forward and continue to move his feet for that extra 2 or 3 yards to where you can trust he is a bruiser. He also has that home run speed. Let him get to the second and third level of the defense and watch him go rampant, blasting on off like Rocket Sanders for an easy house call and 6 points. He also has the elusiveness to know where to look behind the line of scrimmage. He gets exactly what you need to do when it comes to cutting. So that's another thing that I think is going to help out, especially when it comes to the ground game for Billy Napier this fall, and take a lot of pressure off of DJ Lagway. Another reason why I'm really high on this prediction actually coming true is because of I like Florida's offensive line. I know that last year there were some faults, but I think Austin Barber is going to be great. I think that Damian George is going to be better at guard than he was at tackle. I think Bryce Lovett's going to have a good year. And you have, for my money, the best center in college football in Jake Slaughter. If they can open up running lanes, there's going to be games where you look back and say, hey, pass attack's not working. We're playing against Georgia, and they're getting after a Dallas Wilson. They're getting after a Trey Wilson. We got to trust something else. Well, we got number 13 that is unlucky as all hell for any opposing defense and wants to go on a warpath. And that's going to lead to a lot of carries. And that's going to lead to a lot of teams realizing we're just going to have to try to slow him down because he's going to get his due. He's going to feast. So that's going to lead to more production. I think we're talking about a 1,000-yard season coming ahead for Jaden Baugh. I think we're talking about anywhere between 6.5 to maybe 6.7 yards per play. Inside the red zone, let's say they're playing all downfield and they know that Dallas Wilson or Vernell Brown is ready to go ahead and torch them. They're going to turn to 13. And it's going to be very unlucky for the bowling ball material to pile drive it on in a house call for 6 points and add to his production. You tell me right now that he gets over 1,200 rushing yards, averaging 6.1 to 6.2 and 14 to 15 touchdowns this upcoming fall in the swamp. Not going to be shocked. I can absolutely see this being one of the key reasons why Florida is the surprise team in the SEC for 2025. But that's not the biggest surprise reason, because the biggest surprise reason is bold prediction number 2. I'm all in on Dallas Wilson. You watch the show, you've heard the overtime drive, you've heard me talk about what I think this kid can do and how special I think this kid can be. I think he'd be even more special than what we saw at times from Percy Harvin. Because of bold prediction number 2, for the first time since 2002, Taylor Jacobs, when he accomplished the feat, Florida will have a 1,000-yard receiver in Dallas Wilson. When he came onto campus, everybody already kind of figured out who he was. Initially started committed to Oregon, came on in, didn't really like the feel out in Eugene, said, hey, can I go back home to the Southeastern Conference? Okay. Walks onto campus and everyone's like, that dude is a wide receiver number one. Yep, we already got it. Everyone's already on board. Hey, Dallas Wilson, welcome to the club. Here's your jersey. Go ahead and score a lot of touchdowns. 6'3", 210 pounds coming out of high school. Number 8 wide receiver in the country. And the second that we get him into spring drills, and the second that he's getting acclimated and comfortable running Billy Napier's system, and he's put on a little bit more muscle, you're seeing a different player. You're seeing a dude that is confident. You go back and you watch that spring game, I'm telling you, you're not seeing a kid that just a couple months ago was playing against 17-year-olds in high school. You're seeing a guy that feels like a sophomore going into an All-American junior campaign. That's how he looked. Double-digit catches, over 100 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns in the spring game. And he's just getting comfortable in the system. Now he's had an entire offseason to learn the ins and outs of working with DJ Lagway. Now he's had an entire offseason to kind of build a rapport alongside Trey Wilson and Aiden Mizell and J. Michael Sturdivant. And you're telling me that this dude right now is already so acclimated to what's going on with the playbook that now it's just coming down to live reps on game days? How are you not bought in on this? I think Trey Wilson is a very good slot receiver and can add an immediate impact on the short to intermediate game. I think J. Michael Sturdivant is one of the more slept-on transfer portal additions this offseason. Great vertical presence, can add that speed on the outside that you had last season with Elijah Badger. I think you're going to get a lot of Aiden Mizell this year. I think Nashawn Montgomery can have a good season. Vernell Brown was the highest-rated wide receiver of the trio in this group. But there's something about Dallas Wilson. When you watch him play, you see the way that he is acclimating to the field, maneuvering in and out, comfortable hitting the intermediate part of the field. Great character, and overall just a good balance of size, speed, physicality, catch radius. Doesn't drop many balls. Not afraid of getting physical in the open field, and not afraid to get combative to go ahead and bring down a catch for an easy first down. You add all that together, that's going to make DJ Lagway say, hey, where's 6? Where is he on the field? Got to find him. All right, cool. 13-yard gain, 25-yard gain, 31-yard gain, and it starts stockpiling. And then just like we saw last season with Ryan Williams and Cam Coleman, just like we saw with Amari Cooper back in 2012, just like we saw with Xavier Worthy, it became evident this is the guy that we got to go to. And I think that we're going to see 1,000 yards attached to his name. It's crazy to think that we haven't had this in over 2 decades on the swamp, but I think that streak comes to an end this year. Dallas Wilson has all the intangibles you want in a wide receiver number 1, and I think that he is going to be the reason why we talk about Florida winning multiple games that are probably going to be down to the wire. And bold prediction number 3, I think Billy Napier signs a contract extension before the end of the year because of the schedule. We already know what they got. Week 1, okay, well, they play Long Island. Cool story. Then you get week 2. South Florida. All right, whatever. Week 3 against LSU. On the road in the swamp. You beat them last year in the swamp. My bad, in Death Valley. You beat them last year in the swamp. What if DJ Lagway is the better quarterback? Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards last season, but he ends up not having his best day. And some of the newcomers that we see on defense, like Ben Hanks, or you talk about Drake Stubbs, the safety, the 4-star, he ends up having a really good day. And then 3 interceptions. You win that game. And then you carry that momentum on into Miami, and then you get to play Texas. You get to play Texas, and you get a little bit of time to prepare. Remember, that's going to be a game to where you have a bye week in between. And let's say it's the 4th quarter, and it's Arch Manning versus DJ Lagway going at each other. And all you need is that big-time play. And there's an opening, and hey, Hayden Hansen gets an 18-yard pickup. And then, hell, look at that. Jaden Baugh sets you up for a 14-yard gain. And there's J. Michael Sturdivant, the transfer from UCLA, making a big-time play in the end zone for 6 points. And you beat Texas. And you're sitting at 5-0. You know what the rest of the schedule says. Yeah, you still might not make the college football playoff. Georgia's on the schedule. A&M, you still got to face off against Tennessee, Ole Miss. You got to go travel to the Grove. Who knows what this team is going to be at that point. But if you're 5-0 at that regular season mark, and you need one more win with games against Mississippi State, with games against Kentucky, with a Florida State team that probably is still going to be a year or 2 away from actually being in that competitive nature of 9, 10-2 level, Florida at this point has secured itself to where they may be the team to beat in the state because you've already beaten Miami head-to-head. So that's a win in your book. You've already beaten Florida State last year, and you're going to have an opportunity to beat them this year. And you may end up having the best record or one of the best records in the state, if not punching your ticket to the college football playoff. I think Florida, the sad thing is that they may end up going 8-4, but they're better than half of the 10-2 teams in college football, whether it be the ACC or whether it be the SEC. You could throw in the Big Ten, for instance. You put them on a neutral field any Saturday. If DJ Lagway is humming, if he is slicing and dicing, you got that great rushing attack, and you got a good defensive line headlined by guys like Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks and Jamari Lyons and George Gums. Then you throw in backups like Cameron James and LJ McCray. You throw all that in, and it ends up being a big-time reason why, hey, we're putting pressure on anybody. You may be going to the Citrus Bowl or the Outback Bowl or any bowl that you want to talk about at this point that isn't the college football playoff. But you look like one of the better teams. And Billy is the guy behind it all. And so is Scott Strickland for not giving up on Billy, saying, this is the dude that I am hitching my wagon to. We knew we had a 2-year window of pure insanity when it came to the scheduling. But we paved our way. We built our culture. We set our identity. How much are we going to have to do to make sure that you're happy? And I think that Billy Napier gets a contract extension. I really do. I think that Florida is going to finish the year anywhere between 9-3 and 10-2. I think, and I've already made this prediction clear, but I'll do it in another video. That way we get to it. Right now, I lean in favor of them against Texas. I think they start the year off 4-1 before they go travel down to Texas A&M, and I think 5-1 is on the horizon. I'm very intrigued to see what happens down in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. And you add all that together, healthy DJ Lagway with this offensive line, with a revamped defense, Ron Roberts calling the shots, and newcomers plus Dallas Wilson going for a foul. You get the likes of Jaden Baugh going for a foul. I don't know. To me, there's just a lot that says chaos is on the horizon. South Carolina last year ruined a lot of chances for teams to go to the college football playoff. Florida ruined a lot of chances for teams to go to the college football playoff. I think those two teams once again are going to be chaotic. But I just lean a little bit more in the personnel for what Florida has that's going to make them a team that we have to be paying attention to come early November. Look at what numbers attach to their name, because it may be even an 11 or 12. But those are my 3 bowl predictions. What are your 3 bowl predictions for the Gators going into 2025? Like, review, hit subscribe. Make sure that you're following us on all social channels, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at SEC Unfiltered. Follow me at Mr. Cole Thompson, and check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, folks, I am Cole Thompson. Gator Nation, peace.